Hello and welcome to a very special episode of For Azeroth. Since we are now doing video content, we can actually do some more visual things, and this is going to be our first episode where we are taking advantage of that. I am sitting here dropping stuff on the floor, but also sitting here with two glorious co-hosts, the other parts of the Triumvirate. We have the Sultan of Sean, Mr.
Hello.
Recruiter Friend himself. Hello.
How are you today, Manny?
I'm doing all right. Got my butt handed to me by Tyrannical Dungeons, but that'll be for the main episode when we do that.
Talk about that tomorrow.
Oh, yes. But we are not alone. Of course, the Empress of Enthusiasm, the amazing and lovely Lex. How are you, Lex?
I'm doing great. I'm not sure that those are the words that you're gonna pick for me after we do this episode, but I'm currently vibing, living the dream.
Beautiful,
Love it.
beautiful. And that is where this episode begins, because we are talking about tier sets today. We are going to pick out our favorites and our most hated tier sets, compare and contrast them against people who apparently don't have any taste. But I'm gonna hold this episode down, guys, so let's get to it. I think the way that we decided that we'd go through this is that we would go through our favorites, and then if that contrasted against somebody else's, they would jump in and get a rebuttal. So let's have you start us off. Wait, Sean, you got something? What do you want to say?
I just want to say, because I know a lot of us have a lot of strong feelings about outfits, especially in Warcraft, that even if the tier set that you've chosen as your best is, or somebody else has chosen as their best is on your worst, do try to let them say why they like it before you tell them how wrong they are.
Oh, yeah.
If Sean and I were in the same room, he would be making direct eye contact with me right now. That was aimed. What was that for, Manny? Was that because you thought that Manny was going to jump in and interrupt when someone's talking?
Manny, try to restrain your emotions, Manny.
Mr. Sampson, stomp. Please don't interrupt. Understood. All right. So then, just to give an example of this, Sean, what's your first favorite set?
Ooh, so I just want to say a lot of the tier sets coming out in The War Within look really, really good. And it was tough to nail down. It wasn't actually. My number one was easy. My number two was actually also easy. It was harder picking the ones that I thought were the worst. My number one tier set, I think I'm going to go ahead and say this might be up there with Judgment for greatest tier sets of all time. The Judgment tier set, one of the most well-known tier sets they've ever made for Paladins, tier 2, I think. So anyway, I picked specifically from The War Within the Druid tier set from The War Within for Season 1. This is gorgeous. You can see it now on the screen here. I will have, whoever edits this, I guess, will have put this tier set up. And I love this for a couple of reasons. I am a sucker for one big shoulder pad, like the non-symmetrical shoulder pads just gets me. And this Druid tier set, one shoulder is like a giant wolf's head, and the other shoulder is like 3 claws sticking out of a protective plate. But on top of that, they have like this horned-eared wolf half mask that they wear that sort of like evokes almost like a superhero-esque vibe to it. And I don't know, I can't tell if the mohawk that we see is part of the helmet or if it is the hair used by the model for the Night Elf in this, but it looks really good. And then it's just like the coloring on it is really nice. There's like black and gold highlights. It almost looks like it could have been an outfit for an X-Men from the comics because of the color patterns they used in like the 90s, the 2000s runs, the Brian Bendis run of X-Men. It's that sort of coloration. But the thing that really, for me, solidifies this as 10 out of 10, no notes, is that it's a Druid tier set that isn't full of leaves and trees. This looks like a tier set for those warrior druids. This is for those feral druids, for those guardian druids who are out there, in the muck getting their nails dirty. And I love it. This is the by far the best looking set. It's so good I almost considered messaging my DM being like, do we need another druid? for the next season, and then I realized I would just be in bear form the whole time or cat form, and I would never ever see it. Yeah. Anyway, Druid.
Okay. Yeah, Druid was pretty close to being one of those ones that may have made my list, so I do think that it's really great. It's good that they do have something that is more about the animalistic side, like you were saying. It's like, oh, great. Yeah, not a bunch of leaves. So good on Druids. I actually strangely thought, like, this is like a stone's throw away from being a shaman set.
I could see that.
Yeah. But I will say that mohawk is probably night elf. Like, it looks like the helm actually splits down the middle and wraps around the sides. Like, it's kind of like a larger visor than it's a full-on helm.
So I thought that at first too, but actually I could be wrong. I should look at the dressing room. But if you look really closely on the back, it's gray. I think that it is metal all the way around. I think the mohawk is part of the hat.
That it's even this is in the pantheon of Warcraft tier sets. It goes Judgment, whatever angry kitty this is called. This is number 2 from this. Just locked it in at number 2 for me, and that includes all of the Nighthold tier sets, which are all like Blood Elf themed, which I have a massive soft spot for. So yeah, this is amazing. I'm gonna have a Druid alt in the War Within. Lock it up.
There's also so many secret kitty faces. There's like the kitty face on the belt, and there's a little kitty face on his cute little medal. What's the word I'm looking for? His brooch. He has a cute little kitty brooch. I'm loving the kitty.
Yep, it's big, and I think the toe caps means it would hide troll toes if a troll was a druid wearing this.
Ooh.
Maybe?
Which, as everybody knows, is the number one thing you need when designing druid sets, is some way to hide those hideous troll feet. No offense to my troll friends. Y'all get some nasty toes, though.
All right. Moving on to something that is less nasty. Let's deal with Lex's first pick.
My first pick is not going to be a surprise to anyone in my guild, because the first time I saw this, like, I literally tagged every single person who could wear it. And I was like, if you don't check out this right now, I'm going to scream. It is the Warlock. The Warlock is, frankly, the fact that, spoiler alert, neither of these two put Warlock on their list has me rethinking this friendship, because it is the coolest fucking tier. Sorry, Manny. The coolest tier set that I have ever seen. It has this beautiful, like, flowy little mask thing with the on the cool, and it has a little eye on this big, cool, fascinating, like the big Warlock helmet. I'm doing a lot of hand things, so hopefully people are watching this video, because audio is not going to come through. And then, speaking of hand things, so I thought this was really cool. It's got all sorts of, like, drapiness. It has the little, like, crop top for men and women, which we love. We love everyone getting their fancy little crop tops. It's got all sorts of flowiness. So I was sitting there like, wow, yeah, this is a really cool, glowy, amazing tier set. That's so cool. And then the arms come out. And then these arms right up, and it's, oh my God, this is a masterpiece. This is, like, just visually and the greatest tier set I have ever seen in my life. I genuinely, like, if I like DPS more, I would be rolling a Warlock just so I could wear this tier set. It is incredible. I think it is beautiful in every single color it comes in. I am utterly, like, shell shocked. And frankly, I'm a little disappointed, because Warlock was the first one I saw, the first tier set. And I was like, they are making all of these tier sets so cool. And then alas, they just really liked Warlock.
I think maybe it's because I saw it so long ago that the impact has sort of faded. Maybe that's why it didn't quite make my list. Because you're right, like, there's a lot of stuff going in here. It is that sort of Shiva, Mistress of Pain motif that they've got going there, and they've locked it down really well. I like it a lot. I do. Maybe I'm not the biggest fan of the veil, but the helmet's so good that I'll excuse that, like, without any qualm. So yeah, you get it backing from me on that.
I want to support this decision, Lex. I want to, but I have one major issue and then one minor. The major issue, we'll address that second. The minor issue is WoW had put this on a human body type 1 model, and I don't think it would look as good. I don't think it looks as good as it could if it was on like a Nightborn or a Blood Elf or a Void Elf. The human body type 1 is just so blocky and like muscular. It doesn't. I hate it for mages. I hate it for warlocks. It doesn't strike me as somebody who has spent their time, you know what I mean, studying and crafting their art, and they just look like they should be warriors. They should be fighters. So like almost any other body type, trolls, an orc without the like a hunched over orc. Yeah, any other body type, I think this looks better and gets a better result for me. But because of the one they chose, it sort of falls a little bit flat. But that's my minor issue.
I'm so
that
excited.
could probably be fixed. My major issue, and this isn't probably an issue for normies, but it's an issue for me, and I understand that. Look at the belt. The belt has a dangly black cloth piece from the buckle that clips into the pants.
I'm gonna be honest. When I was looking at that, I just thought, I was like, oh, that's so weird. They have an asymmetrical belt.
Yeah,
I didn't realize
it clips into the pants, and for that reason, I would never be able to wear the belt.
That's actually
which means I would completely ruin the whole set, so I would lose the function of it. So that's why it didn't. It wasn't category for worst, but it was definitely in my bottom half of the tier sets.
That's actually really
that belt clipping is unacceptable.
Self collision, man. They need to start doing that because they have a lot of belts that do that, and they've had that going for years.
Or like if you put a tabard on in this, the whole bottom half of the tabard just disappears. Right? I'm a big tabard fan, so.
That's so fair. But then you'd cover up. Then you'd cover up the little croppy toppy.
Yeah, I do like the crop top. I do dig the crop top. Anyway.
Well, yeah, I gotta agree with your minor one. I think that there is a sensuality to this that like a different body type would work well with. I do love that those arms are not always there. They're like wispy smoke, and then the smoke forms into arms. It is such a good animation. So I think if I had a third, that would have been a contender. But I think I have to agree with Sean. It's very hard. A lot of these are so good that I was like, I have to limit myself to 2 because like it's just gonna be so hard to like find that further ranking. As for me, I think I have the first controversial pick here.
You said wrong. It's weird because you said controversial, but I'm certain you meant to say wrong. You have the first wrong pick.
First controversial pick. My runner-up for the best set this tier was the Warrior, and I think this Warrior set is just stoic. It does not do it justice to put it on a human. Poor humans, yet again. They like on a human. I think it's just because the set is like a lot of Warrior sets, top heavy, and for humans it just doesn't work for them. But you put this on a dwarf. You put this on a gnome or goblin or any of the more stockier, like lower center to the ground ones, and they just look like an absolute wall to get through. This thing has great effects, lightning that is going over the shoulders, crossing over the helm, coming out of the eyes like they are the absolute god of thunder and lightning. And with the dwarven motifs that they have in here, this one, because I actually wrote down the names of this. This is the War Sculptor's masterwork, and it lives up to that name. It is a masterwork, in my opinion. Now, we're going to hear from the naysays.
Yeah, Warrior is... So I main Warrior. I'll be playing a Warrior in the War Within, and it is almost a certainty that I won't be caught dead in this tier set.
You main human, right?
Go ahead.
You main human, right?
No, I'm a dwarf. I race changed when they gutted diplomacy. Sorry, when they corrected diplomacy. I race changed to dwarf. I won't wear this tier set. There's a couple of reasons I won't wear this tier. So this tier set does have some stuff going for me, and I could see how a transmog layman would be drawn to it and would think, "Oh, this is nice. This has qualities that I like." But I'm going to specifically, I don't want to attack your character, Manny, and your taste in transmog. I want to specifically address the issues with this set. to say why
Feel like
this
you
is...
failed horribly.
I'm getting there.
But keep going. Let's see. Dig up.
One of the worst sets that I've ever seen. So first, I'm going to start with the helmet. The helmet has these two giant horns that flip up off the front, and it has the open face with the slotting there. If you play a dwarf or a dark iron dwarf or an earthen, which the rest of the set would look better on, your beard is going to clip through all of that face shield. So you're going to have hair coming out through the sides of the face shield. Or in the case of two of the helmets from Heart of Fear, the White Tiger helmet, specifically only the white color version of the White Tiger helmet tier, because the red and black version and the blue version don't do this. With those, your beard clips, but the other option is you put this on and your beard disappears. So for some reason, there's three helmets of the exact same model, just different colors. One of them you have no beard, the other one's your beard clip through it. As soon as you put a beard on and put this helmet on, you're going to clip through the face shield. So right away, you have to eliminate wearing the helmet. So now we don't have a helmet for our tier set, which is fine because we spent a lot of time customizing our characters' faces. We should look at them. They're beautiful. My second issue with this is the shoulder pads, which have these ungodly giant horns. I am not a fan of any tier sets, and Warrior is the most egregious tier set at doing this. When they put these giant curved horns on them. If you look at the set from Zeralek Caverns that Warriors got, the horns were longer than the characters were tall when you wore them. It was crazy. You made a T. You were literally a T when you wore the tier set. In this case, the shoulders do the same thing. Now, these shoulders are on a shoulder plate of a face of somebody. We don't know who it is. It's just a face with a random mustache. No inclination of who that might be. You're wearing somebody's face on your shoulders. You have these giant horns, which, if you're looking at it like from a thematic, I'm just standing still standpoint, okay, fine. But now, if you're a plate wearer, there's a real good chance you're wearing a shield. Now, when you put a shield on the left hand, you're going to clip through, the shield is going to clip through the horns on that left arm. So now we're clipping through the arm with our shield that we're using. So you say, okay, we drop it, we take it off. But the way that it would work in actual medieval times is you would keep the shoulder plate on the shield arm, because that would be the side of your body you do the blocking with. And you would drop the shoulder plate on the sword arm so that you could use it for more mobility and attacking, and parrying as a defensive mechanic. So now we're not wearing shoulder pads. So we have this tier set that we're looking at. Now we can't wear the hat. We can't wear the shoulder pads. Then, to your point, which you said would be eliminated on any other body type other than the very fallible human body type 1, is that the set is very top heavy. And I like the way that it looks. I like the color pattern they chose. I like the fur around the collars and around the belt and the hands. But it narrows down. For some reason, they put these big chunky shoulders on. They put this big chunky hands on, these big chunky leg plates. And then they use the narrowest boot model possible so that he sort of looks like a glorified plug that you would stick in a drain. So the clipping issues in the face and the hat, clipping issues on the arm where your shield would be, and then he narrows himself down like an upside down triangle. So it's a no for me.
I'm gonna split the difference between you two, if that's okay, if you can forgive me for that. I actually really like the overall effect of the set. I see what you're saying about the feet being really narrow, but the feet, like, they line up with the body fine, right? Like, it's just they have the big, massive shoulder pads. I really like the aesthetic of it. I really like the vibe it's going for. Personally, I don't love the horns. I think that, like, I'm actually more okay with them on the shoulder than on the helmet. Like, I understand that it's supposed to, like, echo each other. It feels Demon Hunter-y. It feels like they were just like, well, we gotta have something, stick some horns on. And it just doesn't, I just don't get it. It doesn't feel warrior to me. It doesn't feel, and I do feel like it adds a level of, like, almost daintiness that doesn't make sense with the rest of the really stocky. Like, I think that if they just done a really big, stocky, hard ass helmet, or more like straight up horns or like straight out horns or something. No, those are both ugly, but, like, not the weird, like, demon twisty horns, like not Illidan horns. I think that it would have worked a lot better. But I don't love that. But I do think that the set overall is really beautiful in its simplicity and in its straightforwardness, and also in its firmness. you know? Like, I feel like if I saw somebody wearing that sans horns, I would like want to stand behind them and let them get wailed on because they're going to be fine. And I'm not.
Hmm. Manny, did you send me a picture of the beard fully clipping through the bottom half of that helmet?
I sent you both the picture, and I feel like, you know, as the quote unquote layman of transmog here, with my limited ability to see things that are sitting right in front of me, I think that is still a remarkable silhouette, a remarkable figure. I think that even with those boots being the thinnest part on the dwarf slash earthen model, it just looks like a very solid stocky piece. And of course, we're gonna put videos up showing that in what we think is the best looking or the worst looking ones, so you guys at home will see this. But I think I love this piece. One of the picture that I'm showing them right now, the video that I will be giving to the edit, has this in one of the PvP tints, and it's got that lightning in a yellow glow. It matches with like the tinge that's in the beard. Like this piece, this all seems to come together. And yes, that beard is clipping, but man, it still works in my opinion. That said, that's our first controversial one. It doesn't end here because Sean, what's your next favorite?
Ooh, my next favorite. Okay, I gotta say the horn coloration on that picture you sent is really nice. Okay, so my next favorite. Now, I really like when Blizzard can design a class set for specific races. Heritage Armor all famously looks wonderful, and this next set is for a class that can only be one of two races. So they have no choice but to be able to design for those races, and it is the Demon Hunter set. And the War with it now, there is a massive caveat to this. The Demon Hunter set in the War Within only looks good to me in the mythic color pattern. The other color
orange
patterns are sort of a jumbled mess of not really knowing what they're doing. One of the PvP sets, I think, sort of looks like it wants to be. With Demon Hunter sets, they usually do like a voidy look, an ethereal look, and then like a purplish look for night elves, and like a gold and red and black look for blood elves, for the color patterns. They threw that all out to lunch, seemingly, for these ones, except for the blood elf one. I think one of the PvP sets has some blood elf coloration. But the mythic set on night elves specifically, night elf body type 1, looks imposing. It looks fearful. Like it is. They have these big sweeping horns that come off the head. And when I first saw it, it evoked a sense of Steppenwolf from Justice League. The way that the horns sort of sweep back into the side. And it's the most impressive horns we've seen on a Demon Hunter yet. And then it has shoulder plates that are like giant claws, as if it was an actual demon, and the claws are wrapping around their shoulders to hold them, which shouldn't hinder the use of war blades. There would be no clipping from that, I don't imagine. But it also acts like the Demon Hunter using their body as a weapon as they fell rush into the enemy. The claws sort of evoke that. And it's got like this green ethereal glow to it. And the pants are probably my favorite part, along with the boots. The boots sort of look, if you know Demon Hunters, you know that they wear a lot of like bandages. They're like bandaged up a lot. The boots are bandages with toe claws, which is a common theme for Demon Hunters. But the pants this time are actually baggy pants. So if you have ever played Demon Hunter, at some point you've said, you know what, I want to do an Illidan cosplay. And you've gone to throw it together. And there are no good baggy purple pants that match the type of pants that Illidan wears. Until the War Within Season 1, you will finally have a pair of pants that could go with a lot of the wrappings that we've used in the past that are already in the game, give you that real good Illidan cosplay. And on top of that, just the chest plate looks very metallic with the gold banding. Again, specifically the mythic coloration. I think the other ones are a bit of a casserole of nonsense. Anybody disagree with the Demon Hunter set?
Oh yeah. When I saw the set, like it is on my worst, specifically because I opened up the Wowhead page to look at all the tier sets. I started scrolling down and I went, Jesus fucking Christ. I will say, hearing you talk about it, I can kind of see what you mean. I do think the pants are good. I think the pants are salvageable. I hate the helmet. I think it is just so nothing. It is like, okay, it feels like they had a thing they were going for and they wanted it to be like big, imposing, glowy. And so they just kind of lost the plot. Like, those aren't demon horns. Frankly, if you took the warrior hat and you put, and I'm being, it's a little Illidan, like that's probably kind of part of it, but like it doesn't look necessarily like horns to me. It looks like they just like put a couple of like axes on their head, which is fine, but I just like, I don't get it. I think, again, I hear what you're saying about the shoulder pads. I think it could have been executed a little bit better, because the way that it sort of looks to me, at least, it's kind of it matches together. It just doesn't feel like much of anything to me. Like, I don't look at that and be like, oh, this is a really epic, cool guy. I look at that and I'm like, damn, somebody was working a late night shift when they designed that. I'm so sorry. I'm so happy that I don't mean to yuck your yum. I'm so happy that you love it.
No, now all I can see is axes on his head.
Yeah, I'm so sorry.
It's okay. I'll just take the helmet off.
Honestly, it would be a lot better with the helmet off. I would agree. I think also this is gonna get me like murdered on the forums or whatever, wherever you guys talk about me, gossip about me all you want. I love it. I feel like they just went to subreddit. Oh yeah,
bring that into the Discord. Let's center that in the Fast Discord. You can rant about Lex at bit.ly/fastdiscord.
We don't have a for Azeroth subreddit that can.
We can make one just to gossip about me, please. I feel like it's so glowy, and for what, right? Like, I don't feel like there's a reason behind it. I don't feel like, and I know this is like, I'm just describing a tier set. Congratulations, I saw tier. And this will also be echoed in my second negative. So get excited for that. Like, it just feels like they looked at it and they were like, there's not enough, and they just put glow on it. And I don't get it. It's not my vibe. But happy for the rest of you that like it. Enjoy your axe head.
All right. I am but a lowly amateur at this transmog stuff.
So
but even I can see clipping issues with the pants.
I was thinking of calling that out, and then I felt like I was being an asshole.
You guys are talking about how, no, things can't work with clipping issues, but I'm watching those blades that curl around behind the pants, the big pantaloons that everybody loves, and they clip right back into the pants.
Oh, yeah. I missed that.
It's okay. Listen, like, out of the mouth of babes, we then go to the belt, and it's got the Sean Disgrace number 2, where it's got that lagging part that will flip back and hit you in your Johnson. This is unfortunately another case with that. But, maybe I don't like horn helms when you already have horns, and so I don't get why demon hunters constantly have horns. Like, you already have a horns. You don't need that on your helm. And that annoys me. I wish they would just do something that accentuates that they already have horns. Like, make those horns glow different colors. Put different effects on the horns as part of the tier set. That's how you design a Demon Hunter tier set. But then they'd have to design it for every customization. So they get lazy and they put these horns on. I don't think that the fire effect, the glow effect, is there for no reason. I really think it does a great job of highlighting particular parts. It draws the eyes to different sections, especially when you have it sort of seething through different parts. Like, you can see it on, like, I know I was just bashing the horns, but you can see each ridge because it's got that energy coming through and that energy coming off of the claws on the shoulders, which I think is a big plus. Those shoulders are really cool in my opinion. So this is one that was like kind of mid for me, but only because this tier was so good in general. I don't want to say mid as in, nah, that didn't rate. Like, this tier was great, and even the good ones are still mid.
You can believe that, Manny.
Okay. Yeah, I want to take it off my top 2 list now, but I dig it.
Yeah, I'm sorry to point out that clipping, but
no, I don't know how I missed it. Like, I look for belt clipping. I hate it. It's one of my biggest things. And that belt is clipped right through his pants, right through his leg.
Unfortunately. But a set that has fantastic theming and does not have glow for the sake of glow, That is Lex's second top pick. Lex, take it away.
Oh my God. My second top pick is the priest, which makes me very happy because when I was seeing Warlock and I was like, oh my God, the Warlock is so cool. I'm going to have to re-roll. And then I saw the priest and I like, okay. So first of all, before anyone else says it, I will say it. It's kind of a ripoff of the Ascians in Final Fantasy. It might be a ripoff of other things. I don't know my pop culture too well. When I first saw it, I was like, this looks really familiar, but really cool. And then I was like going through my head, I'm like, oh, right. Like they also play Final Fantasy. But I think it works because it's so like, it gives this really like intense, like dark eeriness to the preset. Like it's the type of thing where like, if I saw somebody with this big, beautiful, like if I'm imagining like being a damsel in distress in a cave and somebody walks in with this on and I'm like, I don't know if I need to like run or if I'm being saved. Like it really just gives that like, and all of them, all of the different sets on all of the different like difficulties and levels are, I think, gorgeous in their own ways. There's a shadow vibe, there's, you know, more of the light vibe, but all of them have this level of like intensity and darkness and hiddenness being reflected in how the brightness and the glow of the light. And I am just losing my whole mind. I think it is beautiful. I think it is so creepy in such a like exciting and interesting way. I think that they took the light as a concept and played with the fact that it's sort of getting a little bit more iffy, and I am just so into this set.
Yeah, I'm jumping in here, Manny. So I will say, again, human body type 1 does not do this set justice. I don't, Bowhead, if you're listening, and you might be, or you're watching, and you might be, please stop using human body type 1 as like the default for all these sets. I know it's like the most generic, and you think maybe that's the one that Blizzard designs it for, but it just doesn't work all the time. That out of the way. Whoever is designing the priest tier sets for the last 4 tiers needs a raise. Oh my Lord, fam. How are they getting the coolest? They can't keep getting away with this. These are the coolest tiers. When you said, Lex, we have a document for full for full transparency. We have a document. And Lex wrote in all caps, Arial 14 point. It's so eerie and dark, you look at it, you don't know if you're looking at the good light or the evil light. And that is so true. This set is amazing. And a couple things I want to highlight. The the wrists and the belt have like a Naru-esque pattern to them. So you're like, oh, it's a Naru, it's gotta be good. And then you look at the face mask and there's this bright, fiery face, like setup. It's like just this light, like around where the face should be, these 2 piercing eyes, and then nothingness. It's not like, oh, a shadowed face. It's nothingness. And the color pattern in this set that you chose, the deep red with the black and the gold, is chef's kiss. Lex, this could have been in my top 2. It would replace Demon Hunter now that you've shown me the axe head, the ways of the axe head.
Thank you.
This is an amazing choice, Lex. So great pick.
Yeah, I gotta agree. It's a really great pick. I wanted docket marks for the shadow one. Blizzard, if you're listening to me, it's not too late. You have fantastic void effects where it's got both like this darkness but this light within it. And then you use a flat purple for the effects of this. No, come on, guys. Put 1 and 1 together. Could be the home run. If you could make the shadow version of this, use the void effects that you're using elsewhere in this very same expansion. I also don't like the hip guards also have a Naru thing. It's very hard to see on the pictures that they've got, but they're floating a little bit above. That means that they clip into the hands and you don't actually see it. I'm not a guy who like cares about clipping. Again, I'm the amateur here. I'm the layman. My opinion matters for like 0.1 of other hosts. But when I see this, I just go like, yeah, like that's kind of wasted effort. When you put the 3D there, but you don't have the 3D on like the cloth that's hanging in front of it. Oh my goodness, this could be so cool if like just the cloth at the back from the belt just sort of flowed backwards would put this at the next level. But I digress. I think that this is solid, and the stuff that I am nitpicking about are genuine nitpicks. I'm asking for this thing to be a 15 when it's clearly a 10 and it deserves to be a 10.
I do want to pause really quick. Oh, yeah. Sorry, I was going to say, Manny's talking about not being able to see the things on the sides. Do you guys not jump every step you take?
You know?
Lex
I used to. Somehow the joy went out of my life, and I stopped jumping.
Oh. Shadow. Have you seen the PvP colorations?
I'm looking at them now.
No, we got to put that up.
Oh my god,
those
PvP,
are beautiful.
This whole set is just straight banger. Like, I'm gonna be a priest main.
Do it.
But again, you see what I'm talking about with the void one, the purple one.
I do see that's mythic. The purple is mythic. Heroic is the set that Lex linked us.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Normal looks good as well. It has actually, I think normal makes a better Shadow Priest look than the mythic one does.
Mm-hmm.
And then Raid Finder is okay.
The Raid Finder kind of.
Yeah, it's good. It's still good if you're a Raid Finder player. It's still good. But every other one of them are S tier.
I do have a similar issue with PvP 2 because it's just such a bright. I feel like part of the joy of the set is the contrast of light and dark, and PvP 2, and I think Raid Finder as well, kind of dulls that out by brightening up the entire outfit, and then you don't really get that intense contrast. Yeah, I do think that the Mythic set could be better. I agree. I think that what they need to do is because they took the light, like, I think that it would be valid to be like the wings and the face thing are going to be shadow. I think that you need to brighten everything, though, because again, the whole point of the tier is that it's like this contrast between shadow and lightness. And so
if it was like white robes and then just like the purple darkness where you're like, oh, this guy's good? Yeah. Okay.
Right.
I think Night Elf body type 2 is going to be the perfect set for the perfect build for this.
Oh, you're so right.
Because it's almost a little willowy, you know what I mean? It's got an ethereal feel to it. Anyway, great pick.
Yeah. All right.
Annie, I don't think you're a transmog layman, man. Not intentional. You're gonna prove me right here.
All right. Well, my second pick is yet again another controversial one. So, guys, there will not be a single pick that I get to put up without a fight. This one was the Evoker. And guys, this is the Destroyer's Scarred Wards. And this is so good for Evoker because they are 100%. What did Evokers miss out on? Deathwing. They were asleep and they never got to see what happened to Netherian becoming Deathwing. And this is the Evoker Deathwing set. It has the Shadow Flame on one of it. It's got the fire on another. Its entire motif is those plates that Deathwing had, and you can see the energy boiling out from underneath it in all the different variants. In the document that we're reading off of, I have one that's based on the Shadow Flame, but even if you were to go to the one that is just strict fire, no Shadow Flame corruption, it is solid. It's got, again, the purple moves out of the plating and more into the underlying robes, but the way that they put it, they've got the highlights in particular areas, understated areas that, like, you have to look a little bit deeper to see that detail, and it looks fantastic. Now, I will say, unfortunately, it does have those chains. It's going to have the clipping issues. I've already lost Sean and the actual connoisseurs on this.
You actually might not have that much clipping because of the way that the Evoker body type stands.
Yeah,
and the way
that's
they
kind of
move, like when they're running, you would have to stare right at them from the front to see clipping. You might be good. It's that Blood Elf body type 1, and then the human body type 2 for the other one. So you might be okay with clipping there.
Yeah, I genuinely think that this is the best looking Evoker set, period. I don't think that my two co-hosts could say, yeah, no, it's no, I can't even remember any of the other ones. Evoker, maybe this is a low bar to be competing against, but this one's solid. All right.
Now I'm jumping in. I agree with you, Manny. I think I personally only really like the Mythic set and the PvP 1 set. The other ones don't speak to me as much. but I do think the Shadow Flame set from Mythic, I like how they use the theme of the Death Plate, the plates from Death Knight or Deathwing. I think that's really good on there. And the only reason this didn't make my list, in all honesty, is because you only get to see like 3 pieces in your visage form, or whichever one the dragon form is. And that to me is a bummer. It's, although you know what, it didn't hurt Druid at all. I'm still all in on Druid, so I guess I'm just a hypocrite. But yeah, that's my hypocrite take on it. Is that I think it does look really good, and this is a great choice. And kudos to Evokers.
Yeah, it made my list because I don't like it. It feels really Halloweeny to me. That was the first thought that I had when I saw this. It felt like a costume, and it like I think that because it's like, okay, my issue with Demon Hunter was that it felt like it didn't understand the class enough. My issue with Evoker is it feels so on the nose. Like, you made a dragon set. Like, okay, cool. We understand Evokers are dragons. And I'm being a hater. I know that. But I think because it just feels so like they drew a dragon and they put it on a human body, or a blood elf body in this case. Again, the lighting just gives it this like, what's the word? This like costume shop look to me, right? It just doesn't. It feels silly a little. It feels a little goofy, but not in a like self-aware way. Yeah, this feels like something that I would pick up if I was at a costume shop the day before Halloween. But I'm glad you guys like it.
Lex is heathing.
The plus side is you don't have to hear from me anymore because we went through my 2 least favorites already.
That's all of our bests. Now what we have left is our worsts, right?
Indeed. So as Lex said, she's already been through her worst.
Yeah.
We just went through one of my picks. Sean, take it from here. What's getting you with this set?
So we talked about how Warrior was my worst set. My second worst set is Hunter. I don't know what you're doing here, Blizz. It's got a skull on one shoulder and a skull on the head, and then bones on the other shoulder and bones on the wrists. What animal has? It's got 2 skulls, I guess. This creature that you built this set from. It's all like a jumble of colors. They have a trap on the hip that's like a bear trap for getting things. But I always think of hunters as being friends of the animals, not like ones that would hurt the animals. You tame them, you don't cage them. To me, the boots look good, and the pants I think look good, and the belt looks good. But the rest of it is just like this casserole of nonsense. I don't like it. I think it's probably one of the weaker hunter sets we've seen in a while, especially coming off the strength of ones like Castle Nathria and stuff like that. So, and knowing how good the male set looks from like the crafted version, the crafted male set, I don't think we're going to see too many of these on hunters come War Within season 1.
I agree with every point you just made, but to me, that just makes it a hunter set. Hunter sets always suck. I am sorry. If you rolled hunter, you get to like stand back, auto attack, not worry about mechanics, but your drawback is you get crap like this, tier after tier. I'm sorry. And yes, Castle Nathria was good, but I think that's because somebody might have been on vacation that week, but they're right back at it again, guys. Here's your hunter set. Sorry.
I think
All right, Manny, hit us with your. Oh, I guess Lex, how do you feel with the hunter set?
I think the trap is cute. I think it adds a level of like realism. I don't like the helmet. I also agree that I think if you're going to put an animal skull on something, you got to know what animal it is. Like, you can't be like, what is a general skull vibe? Like, pick it. Who did I kill? Right? Who did I hunt? I really hate the one that you picked. The purple glow is ugly. You know how I feel about glows, that they just it looks like they were just like, well, everyone else has a glow, so you're getting a glow. And I also think the hat, frankly, if the helmet, I would prefer on like Demon Hunter. I think that would make the Demon Hunter set look a lot better to me. But on the hunter, I mean, I don't hate it, but I don't love it either. I'm not gonna like defend it. I like the trap though. I think it's cute.
I think that chess piece could be used as like transmog when you're transmogging anything else and decide you need something that fits in, but it's like, it's just understated. So it works with other stuff.
Yeah, okay. I could see that. The gloves would be great if they didn't have those weird bones strapped to the wrists. Anyway, this is a bad set. Manny, what do you got? What's your last worst set?
No, he has 2 worst sets. Man hasn't been through
Actually,
any.
I have 2 because I picked sets that the rest of you apparently thought were passable. But come on, guys.
No. Don't mistake other sets being worse for these sets being passable.
All right. Let me introduce you guys to one of the most ill-conceived sets that Blizzard has come up with in a long time. And that is, unfortunately, has to be worn by the monks. This set has not only one gaudy, what color did you pick, purple tint for the Gatecrasher's Fortitude set, but then you look at its PvP set, and it's got this teal mixed with red setup with like glowing, and it's like, come on, guys, like, I understand that we're pushing the envelope here, or actually I feel like these sets are actually supposed to be far more simple and far more rooted with the classes that they're coming from, right? And so they're going on motifs that we haven't seen before a lot of times. We saw that with the Druid set, and hey, great, that animalistic thing, they really hit it out of the park. The 2 ones that I picked, they went with motifs that they don't usually use, and I think there's a reason behind it, because this one is with the Ox, and you can see it with the shoulder pads. Both of them have the Ox shoulder pads with the ring coming out of the nose, and it's like, yeah, okay, I see what you're trying to do here. And then they have the horns, and these horns do not work. I like, 2 of them are just like I don't know, like it's a staple to the warrior's, sorry, to the monk's forehead, and it just, I genuinely dislike that. And if you think it's bad on the human, which, you know, we're always talking about human body type 1 being bad and stuff, nah, like, put that on a body type 1 monk, and they suddenly go from Zen Master to I need a Tylenol. Good grief. This set is just not working on so many levels. So for that, and for the deluge of bad ways that they put it together, this one is like right there next to the next set that I'm going with on the bottom of the list for me. Do you guys think there's anything redeemable with this set?
So, first of all, the first thing I just need to say, because I like to start fights, is I don't understand how you can think that the monk's horns don't make sense, but also put the warrior in one of your top 2. I think that I agree. I think that they just kind of look kind of like stuck on, but I think the same way that the warrior looks kind of stuck on. But that's okay. I'm glad that you're able to be happy even in your hypocrisy. I
could explain this, but keep going.
I agree that the set you picked is really ugly. I really like the Raid Finder for this one. The green I think is really pretty. I don't.
The teal one or the green?
The green one.
You're talking about the teal red?
No, I'm talking about the Raid Finder.
No, you're talking about the green one.
Raid Finder's green.
Okay, yeah.
Oh yeah, one of the PvP ones is really ugly. The other one is fine. I like the bright colors. I think they're kind of cute. I think they're kind of slay. But I see what you're saying, that this purple is really ugly. And I think that
it's garish. It like offends your eyes. You like turn the page, you're like,
okay, but again, if we're gonna talk about bright garish colors that hurt your eyes, you can't put Evoker in your top 2.
I can, because the Evoker is highlighted. This one is just all over the place. They're like, color here, color there. Guess what? Glowing horns, and they'll all come. Guys, check, because I'll put this video up. This is another video, because I put this on the body type 1 of the Pandarian, and you guys can check the Discord, and there's a difference between the warrior one, where those horns spread out its silhouette, really have this imposing thing, and the monk ones, which make the guy look like a cone head.
No, they're flowing. They flow up.
Like it creates the wrong kind of silhouette. Instead of like accenting and building a silhouette, this guy, like, when he chi torpedoes, he's gonna grind you. Like, this is functionality at the cost of aesthetics. Like, when they come in and they're like, chi torpedo at you, you're mints. That's it. You're done, right? But, like, When he comes in for a hug, you're also done. It's just garbage.
No, I like it because I think it evokes like a nice little. I actually think I will say, Manny, I was kind of on your side that the monk was ugly, and then you posted on a Pandaren, and I was like, oh no, I get it. Like, oh okay, actually, I think that's really cool. I like it. I like the flow. I'm sorry, Sean. I've been talking over you this whole time.
No, I wasn't even trying to. That's great. I don't know. They could have just created a monk tier set and made it just blank white, because after Mist Remix, every monk is going to be wearing the Shadow Pain set. So you've already hit the peak of Serenity. So why go for more?
Yeah, well, you know what? Just force more people onto it by building this set so people know, yeah, I better transmog, better get that transmog. They're just pushing subscriptions. This is it. This is how they're doing it. To push subscriptions during the lull between expansion. Get your transmog now, because we're screwing you later.
Manny's not here for the girls.
Okay.
That's what I'm getting out of this.
The other set that I think actually isn't about Garish. This set is so subdued, so flat, that it just fails to inspire anything. And it is yet again another set that they went with a motif that they don't usually go with. This one hurts me personally because it is the Shaman tier set. And so we are getting Waves of the Forgotten Reservoir. This set, it doesn't matter what tint you're looking at. Well, that's not entirely true. There is one that actually has some decent gold highlights and stuff that kind of draws the eye, but it's just the lining, the filigree that makes it pop. Unfortunately, this set is just subdued blue versus purple. It's the one that I put through, or it's a green on top of teal. There is no pop to this set. And then it has the helm, which is like a pompadour with water coming out, and it's animated, guys. You move your head and this thing will go all around and you'll look like a fool. You will look like a fool. You will be like in there and be like, look at my weapons, and the boss will do 10% damage because he doesn't want to touch you. You look like a fool. But you know what? It's a unused motif. You don't normally see shamans with a water motif. This is something that, you know what? At least the set's wet, because I sure as hell is drying when looking at this one.
Man's so excited that we're on YouTube now. I can say whatever the hell I want.
You guys got anything to defend this one?
No. I mean, I think it's fine. It's a nothing burger for me. I don't feel any way about it. And again, for the same reason that I don't really feel anything about the monk set, they could have just released a blank white transmog set, because after Panda Remix, every shaman should be wearing one of the new dark shaman colorations that they have, the Korkron shaman colorations.
If they made those HD, sure. If they didn't make those available to every single class, regardless of armor type or class, sure. But now everybody's got the Dark Shaman, which I had ages ago, which hasn't been made HD. Like, come on, guys. Like,
man, just because you paid your student loan doesn't mean that everybody else shouldn't get their student loan paid for them. It's okay.
I'm fine with it.
Just wear your OG Dark Shaman set, and when people are like, "Oh, did you buy that in Remix?" you can be like, "No."
No, I'm totally fine. Everybody and their uncle and their cousin's a kitchen sink can get themselves a Dark Shaman set. What I don't want is this set, which you're not interested in because it looks like your beat up cousin walking around using up my gold because I got to transmog away from it. Come on, guys.
I will
we
say,
only have to transmog away from it once.
No, every time I upgrade I get a new tier piece to replace it. I gotta replace it. Yeah.
I will say, when I first was scrolling through the list of tier sets, I thought that the helmet was like a cool little water friend hovering above your head. I didn't realize it was connected, and I thought that looked pretty cool. I thought it was gonna have cool swirling animations or something. I was excited about that. And then I saw that it's a weird ponytail, and we no longer liked it. That's why I don't like it, because I think the hat is so ugly. I'm gonna level with you guys. That hat had so much promise. Like I was thinking of putting this on my list when I thought you'd had like a cool water bestie hovering above your head. And alas, it is in fact one of the ugliest things I've ever seen in my life. The rest of it's fine. It doesn't really look like a tier set. It looks like a questing set to me, honestly, which I think is what you're picking up on, Manny. It's just not interesting enough. But I don't have a problem with the rest of it. I think the hat is hideous.
Now, I want to say, Wowhead, knowing how horrible this was like, we cannot even put it on the type 1 human body type because it's so fugly that we gotta give it something. So at least they put it on this stacked orc woman, and you know what? Them curves work for her, but not for the set. Now, can we do an outro? Can I pick the song? You remember that like high school song where they like say you ain't got no alibi, you're ugly?
I know that song because my parents sing it. Yeah.
I don't think we can put copyright music on YouTube. But really don't like this set, huh?
You can try to sing it for us, Manny. It's in your generation, so you'd know it.
Those are just our picks, though, folks. Why don't you tell us in the comments what your 2 favorites are, or what your 2 least favorites are? Tell us why we're wrong about our choices. Tell us why we're right. Tell us anything at all. Please, we need the interaction. Man, you got to say goodbye because my wife came home and I want to go eat chili.
You know how to do it. Do it. I'm out of here.
Manny's so upset. He's going to put his new transmog on, folks. He's going to wear his little water hat. It's going to be great.
Oh, no.
Old little shaman Manny. Going to get his horn hat. Thanks for tuning in, folks, to this very special episode of For Azeroth, where we talked about some transmog sets. You can expect to see more stuff like this on our YouTube channel. And until next time, may all your hits be crits.